Hello all, I was in the middle of gooning to Nobara and Maki, and then midway I thought, you know what, let me make a video. This one isn't going to be about leaks, this one's just going to be talking about my own plan for 3.4, right? For people who have watched the recent videos, for people who have been in the live streams, you guys would know that I plan to do a 3.4 reroll account. Now the reason for this is I cannot guarantee Phanon on my main account. I just can't, and I've had this rule that I've set for myself that I really do want to try or just straight up never drop money for direct currency in any gacha I play, right? Like I always have it, monthly pass, the norm for me, battle pass, very occasional, but never drop on direct currency because that can be an entire rabbit hole, right? And so I have decided to not, deal with the bullshit of, especially with my bad Hoyo luck, possibly losing the 50-50 of Phanon and all his teammates, and instead just making a reroll account, especially now that they're introducing a main story quest skip, and on top of this, E0 S1 Archer for free if you're a new player. Basically, it is very easy to obtain 200 pulls as a new player in HSR, right? I did something similar months ago. I made a Rob account, right? Kind of like the villain, the rival to Bob, which was Pokies, and I was able to get 300 to 400 pulls in a single patch on that Rob account, and that was with no skip dialogue, right? But 3.4 is truly special, even outside of them adding this skip option, even outside of the free E0 S1 Archer. There is a triple harmony rerun, right? So this is probably the best patch ever in HSR's history to, really dive into as a new player, because of the fact that you can instantly get two teams, like instantly. You can pull Phanon plus Sunday, and then you can run Archer, and if you want to, you can pull Sparkle or Tribby. However, I would not recommend that. If you've seen my recent videos on what I believe Archer's future best in slot will be, at least at E1, but it should even apply at E0, it would not include Tribby or Sparkle, right? Not to say they can't add value to your account, however, not as much as other characters, right, is how I'd put it. So I personally plan, as said before, I am going to get E0 S1 Archer, and I'll probably just use him on the side whenever I can. And then obviously Phanon. Phanon is the main guy I want to invest into here. You guys might be asking why. Phanon has one of the most disgusting E2 jumps in the entirety of the game, to the point where E1 S1 pales in comparison to E2 S0. His E2 is just way too good. It is a massive jump in his performance, and especially in his weaker modes such as full AoE scenarios or pure fiction, the E2 becomes even better, right? For those who don't know, E2 Phanon gets 20% physical res pen. Sorry, burp there. And on top of this, he gets an extra turn every time he does a meteor. So in most 2 or 3 target scenarios such as MOC, he's not really going to be able to abuse this all that much. It's still a nice bonus, and it for sure helps him out a lot. However, compared to his weaker mode being AoE and pure fiction, oh my god, right? You can do a meteor every other turn with Phanon at E2 if you do this, because you do meteor, then you do counter, then you do meteor, then you do counter, then you do meteor, and you're just constantly getting extra turns, and you're only ever consuming 1 turn per meteor. That is very busted, right? So my plan is to re-roll. I want to get lucky on my first few pulls on Phanon so I can go for E2. After this, it's quite obvious I will be going for E0 S1 Sunday, and then Saridra, and then Dan Heng. This is why I'm not over investing into this Archer comp. I personally don't think, unless you're trying to speedrun clearing the endgame, that investing into Archer's comp is actually worth it at all. Because in 3 patches from 3.4, we will be getting Cyrene. Cyrene, for those who look at leaks, you know how Hoyo treats the lore, important characters in terms of meta scaling in this game. Cyrene will probably be the most busted unit this game has ever seen, next to Acheron. So, because of this, I am personally going to be skipping out on most of Archer's team. I'll probably still use him to just semi-clear some endgame. However, by no means am I going to over-invest here. Phanon is already very expensive, right? You need to understand these new player pulls, they are nice, right? You can get 400 to 500 pulls as a new player if you really grind it out. Mr. Pokey with account managers was able to get 500 plus, and that was with no skip button. So you can also probably get 400 to 500 plus in a single patch if you really grind it out, now that there is a skip button. However, do understand that these pulls are not infinite, right? This is the straight up best patch in HSR's history to invest into. Don't just waste your pulls out of FOMO, right? Don't really go for that. I am going for E2 Phanon because this is a fan favorite character for me, right? Phanon is one of my favorite characters in the entirety of the game. I did this exact same thing with My Day. I'm going to do the exact same thing with Phanon. So I want my Phanon to last a very long time. So I want E2 Phanon, I want Sunday, I want Saridra, and I want Dan Heng, right? And then after this, I'll pull Cyrene, and then I'll just go for whoever Cyrene can synergize with in the 4.x patches, right? Kind of like a Sunday scenario. People just pulled Sunday, hoping he'd be good for future DPSs, and oh boy, he's fucking good, alright. So I think Cyrene will be a very similar situation. She'll be incredibly meta, incredibly strong, incredibly universal, and I'd love to use her for my second team going in, that far. You might be like, oh, aren't you over investing into this Phanon team without focusing on your second one? Yes. Honestly, yes. It's probably not the most optimal way to spend my pulls, because E0 Phanon by himself, it would probably already be enough to zero cycle old content currently. However, I am greedy, I am stupid, I love Phanon, so I'm going to go all out, right? That's the entire point of why I'm re-rolling my account, is so that I can just dump it all onto my favorite character, right? So that's what I'm going to be doing on 3.4 for my Phanon reroll. As for my main account with My Day, I'm actually not sure. I actually think I'll probably keep skipping because I can still clear endgame without issues. Surprise, surprise, E2S1 My Day, right? So I am possibly looking towards 2 possibilities. I currently do not have a team buffer for My Day, and I wouldn't spend it on Tribby, honestly. My main account I am more stingy on, of course. So I feel like spending on Tribby would be a waste, because I'm confident My Day will probably have better synergy with Saridra. Or that My Day would probably have better Can I speak? Oh my god. Oh my god, it's way too late. I gotta get some sleep. My Day will likely have better synergy with Cyrene than Tribs. There we go. I finally got it out. Right. And Cyrene only being 3 patches away from Tribs, I'm confident Cyrene will obviously also have like a broken ass Eidolon or some shit. So because of that, I do want to save my pulls for possibly Cyrene to put into my Day. That, or E6 My Day, depending on when he reruns, because I do have E2S1. E6 My Day is a lot less unlikely though, as it already costed me 400 pulls to get his E2S1. So much more likely is Cyrene. I'll probably get like E1S1 Cyrene, E2S1 Cyrene, run her as the team buffer with my My Day, and I'm back to clearing endgame content with no issue, right? So that's all I have to say. This is not really a leaks video. This is just like a personal update on what I plan to do for 3.4 on both of my accounts, right? Let me know if you guys would prefer more videos like this that are just me talking about me, like what I'm doing personally with my account. Most of my videos are giving other people advice, talking about leaks, giving my opinions on stuff. I almost never really, do anything content wise with my own accounts because I usually think people just don't care, right? Love you all. Hope you have a great day. Hope you have a great night. Peace out.